Well, thanks and welcome to join me on the 6:15 p.m. news. I'm Kejang Henry Atembe. We begin with our top stories for this edition. Military fine-tunes and perfect marching parade ahead of the May 20th celebrations come Friday. March past rehearsals would be on a core body of the 6:15 news. And is a description of the love of fatherland. And in our front page, President Emmanuel Macron picks Elisabeth Borne as new Prime Minister of France, replacing Jean Castex, who resigned on Monday. Elisabeth Borne becomes the first woman to hold such a high-profile position in France after 30 years. Macron shakes his cabinet after winning a second term as France's president. Those were our top stories. In a split second, we are having the news. Welcome to join me. I'm Kejang Henry Atembe. You can hook up with us on our Facebook page and, of course, get us on Canal International as well as on our YouTube platform. We begin with our top stories. Now, Cameroon will celebrate May 20th come Friday. And, of course, this is a day that Cameroonians in New Zealand actually decided to form a unity state. But then, as Cameroonians brace up for such a celebration, we are moving up to Yaoundé to find out how the preparations for the National Day are heating up. Details in this report with our Yaoundé Bureau correspondent, Bishop.
The Melodic Band. The uniform and heavy steps. The energy and serenity on their faces. The forces of law and order fine-tuning their march past activity here at the 20th May Boulevard in Yaoundé ahead of the D-Day. All the corps, the police, the National Gendarmerie, custom officers, prison guards, different units of the army like the land and air forces, the marine, presidential guards, the rapid intervention battalion, the B, firefighting brigade, as well as special combined forces, marching past before the presidential tribune under the watchful eyes of the coordinator, General Aga Robinson, and other top military officials. And after a keen observation this May 16, the authorities dish out remarks and recommendations to the different units to ensure that perfection prevails during the National Day. No blunder or any sort of fumbling, they underline, shall be tolerated that day before the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, as Cameroon celebrates 50 years of a unitary state.
Stay with you as you are telling us that there is a new monument that has been inaugurated ahead of the 20th May celebrations. Of course, this new monument was done or inaugurated by Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte. And you are saying that the obelisk new look is something that Cameroonians actually cherish. You were there with Nzebu.
I love my country, Cameroon, and the French acronym J'aime mon pays, le Cameroun, is the message that catches the attention of every Yaoundé city dweller passing by this new monument. Many lack words to describe the beauty.
C'est des merveilles. Comment ne pas être heureuse d'être camerounaise, vraiment? Quand on arrive au centre-ville, on voit ce genre de monument. On ne peut que dire, on aime le Cameroun.
Situated at the Hilton Runabout, the nose of the Prime Minister's office, and few meters away from the 20th May Boulevard, Cameroonians in the capital city say it is a good step to encourage and emulate. It is indescribable. If the authorities were doing things this way, who would have been complaining? We have to continue in this light. We need things like this to put smiles on the faces of Cameroonians. It gives a feeling that we are in our country. In our time, things were moving on well. We have to put in efforts now to make things better. I sincerely wish we could erect this in other parts of the city and even in other parts of the country. Despite the pretty view of the obelisk, others question if it can be regarded as a reference to the realities of the country. It is well appreciated, but we ask questions if this reflects the country. Is the country doing well? The Anglophone crisis, social insecurity, unemployment of the youth, the deplorable nature of artists, the country is not in good shape. While waiting for the work to be dusted at the recreational side, many cannot miss the opportunity of having memorable photos when passing by. The newborn baby by the Yaoundé City Council will receive its baptismal name in the days ahead upon inauguration.
Well, thanks very much, Jacintia. And of course, ahead of the May 20th celebration, as you announced, the separatist movement in Cameroon has actually sent warning signals of a protracted ghost town that is expected to run right up to Friday on May 20th. Now, these warning shots have actually sent cold sweats down the spines of those who actually ply the right or the route of the Douala-Kumba-Buya-Limbe highway. Now, we're getting reactions as gathered for us by Saleh Shafiatu on how the drivers are feeling on this news.
For fear of victimization, these drivers at the Bonaberi bus station initially refused us from filming. The drivers who ply the Douala-Buya and Douala-Bamenda stretch of road live in perpetual fear to move as these crisis-stricken zones observe Ghost Town every Monday. What worst is the call of separatist fighters for a one-week Ghost Town to foil upcoming celebration of 20th May.
Only the one day, we don't make we be down. Then if we continue again, that means we don't finish off. But this one, now the one way at least, we not even support them.
Since the degeneration of the AIM conflict, the transport sector has been badly hit as a result of multiple ghost towns and lockdown prohibiting movements. Many drivers respect the rules to save their lives.
You know how 20 May is on Friday, so today people have fear to go to Southwest and Buya.
Working hours have now turned to leisure time. However, some of the drivers say they are ready to walk, but passengers who fear their lives are nowhere to be found.
If passenger enter now, will go.
It's not the first time a lockdown of this nature is imposed as separatist fighters are bent on making their voices heard.
Well, that was Saleh Sharifa reporting there, and enough is enough. In fact, this is coming from the king of the Bel Aqua, or Canton, as he expresses indignation and frustration of his people following the demolition galore that is ongoing and the land tenure problem. We're having updates of what happens this morning following a press conference, as reported by Ambo Gladys Diban.
Trop, c'est trop.
It is with pain that the king of the Bel Canton, King Jean-Yves Ebumbo Douala Mangabel, expresses indignation against what he describes as the administration's land expropriation scheme of a pretext of lascious economic development. His statement follows the recent demolition of houses in Dikolo, situated in the Bel Canton, which he says comes weeks after that of other neighborhoods such as New Bell, Kongmondo and Esenge. At a press briefing in Douala this May 16, 2022, the paramount ruler of the Bel Canton said he joins his voice to that of his people already suffocating with the administrative and judicial system to say enough is enough, emphasizing that no traditional ruler will sit and watch such barbaric acts perpetrated on his kinsmen without reacting. To him, these can only lead to bitterness, hatred, disobedience, and social deviance. He recalled how his grandfather, the nationalist Rudolf Douala Mangabel, lost his life in his attempt to safeguard the community's land when the Germans planned to relocate them. King Jean-Yves Ebumbo Douala Mangabel says this land expropriation exercise under the guise of private state property started in 2015, and until date, several hectares of private lands have been seized, leaving owners, including some indigents, frustrated. The king regrets that more than 15 consultation meetings with the administration and the Littoral Regional Council in relation to the land expropriation scheme has not yielded fruit, and expressed his determination to petition the International Court of Justice as he calls for a solidarity movement against such inconsiderate actions. He equally urges government to respect its law on minorities, to be humane in decision-making in order to promote living together.
Thanks very much, Ambo. Gladys Diban reporting there. And of course, we talk local products. Made in Cameroon brand has actually been criticized by agroeconomists at an open door day that took place this morning in Douala. The actors are seeing that, or entrepreneurs amongst others are seeing that, well, these Cameroonians don't have the respect and of course the love for made in Cameroon goods, especially as we are facing a serious economic problems with our goods and competitiveness.
32 years old Eno Brillian is a manufacturer of locally made jewelry. She bemoans the fact that despite so much talk of promoting homemade products, Cameroonians are still reticent.
I do jewelry. I make jewelries, Chinese they also do jewelries. But I discovered that my own jewelry is last more than that of Chinese. But people still prefer to buy the one that come from China because they are cheaper. Now they will buy it. After some few weeks, it is bad. So I don't know what the problem, why the Cameroonians cannot consume their own things. Because when I discovered that when I went to exhibit in Nigeria and Abuja, the Nigerians buy their own things.
Cameroonians are currently decrying price hike in basic commodities despite enormous potentials. Experts decry hypocrisy of government in failing to support agriculture.
Ce même gouvernement n'aime pas l'agriculture.
Our government does not love agriculture. You tell me, how do you explain a ministry like that of agriculture occupies the 14th place in terms of the budget allocation? How come the agricultural campaign is launched in April? When will farmers get the seed? Do you think it is because Minadette does not know what to do? They did not receive money in time. Let's be more serious in this sector.
Despite these challenges, actors are bent on putting made in Cameroon products on the map. Reason for this open door day in Douala, organized by the association Révolution Verte.
COVID-19
The COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine has made us to understand the need to promote homemade goods. Today we are all talking about high cost of living. Why? Because we fail to invest in the sector. Today we have brought these firms to showcase their goods.
From the domestication of snail to the production and commercialization of pencha white pepper, locally made detergents and transformation of agricultural production, the Open Door Day is a brilliant way for actors in the food chain and other transformative industries to thrive.
I've been in arts and craft for over 10 years now. And what I discovered is that we sell mostly when we go for exhibitions. So we crafters, we appreciate exhibitions because that's where we showcase our talents to show the world what we can do.
Calls have been multiplied for Cameroonians to give value to made in Cameroon products.
Regina Leketa reporting. Thanks very much. And President Macron has actually appointed Elizabeth Borne as the Prime Minister, in fact, the new Prime Minister of France, replacing Jean Castex, who actually resigned on Monday. Elizabeth Borne becomes the first woman to have such a high-profile position in France after 30 years. President Macron shakes his cabinet after winning a second term as France's Prime Minister. Elizabeth will replace Jean Castex, as we get it from this news. And that actually brings us to the end of this newscast. I've been Kejang Henry. I want to thank you graciously for having been part of this news department and say goodbye from all of us.